So the Sixers start this year the exact same way they ended last year, which is getting absolutely pounced at home. This was ugly, ugly, and ugly.
Now, Broad Street Sports, the best Philly sports podcast.
What up, everybody? So the Sixers lose the season opener. This is really no surprise. This was an expected loss due to the fact because when you get the news that the guy you just paid to a max extension and who's supposed to be an MVP, supposed to be the guy that's going to take you to the promised land, he wants to miss this opening game of the season opener and he wants to be soft, that's what you're going to get. Then when you have your second guy, your second best player, who you just got in free agency, who messed his knee up pretty bad in preseason, and he misses some time. He misses the opener. He's going to miss some time as well. So you're missing big pieces of your team, and you're relying on Maxey. This was an expected loss from all angles. It was expected. I didn't think the entire team played terrible. At times it was pathetic. But at times it wasn't bad either. It wasn't what it could have been. It really wasn't that level of bad. There was some key things throughout the night that made it really, really unwatchable. There were some things that really made it bad for the Sixers. There were some things that they did that, you cannot do. And you know what? I'll give them this. They fought hard at the end of the game with like 8 minutes left, 7 minutes left. They started to play solid, okay basketball. They were running, they were driving the lane, they were stealing, they were playing physical basketball. But it doesn't help that the fact that in the first half and in the third quarter, you allowed the Milwaukee Bucks to absolutely just take your soul. They absolutely just took advantage of the fans being absolutely no factor, these guys not hustling, and the Sixers just not being able to make any shots, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, because that's a major factor. That's a major thing. But when you really think about it, when you really, really look at it, this team had some problems, but it really wasn't all bad. It was not all ugly tonight. It really was not. You got 21 points from Kelly Oubre. Now, I don't expect Oubre to be giving me 21 a night, but he played well. He played okay. Banged down a couple threes. I thought Drummond played really, really well. You could tell that the Sixers defense, the Sixers rebounding is just a totally different beast. It's totally different than what it was last year. We have gotten better at rebounding, which is why we brought Drummond in. Drummond played well. At least from rebound side. Defense, he played pretty good as well. But there's nothing you can do when you have Maxey guarding up against Giannis, when you got Lowry stepping up against Giannis. The Milwaukee Bucks are over. I don't know how to describe them guys. Because they're just big, man. They're physical and they're big. Giannis, Brook Lopez. I mean, so and our guys, they're big, but they're not like these guys big. You know what I mean? But they tried to hold their own tonight. It was tough. It's definitely tough without your two best guys. So there's only a couple problems that I actually had tonight. One of them being the second chance points. I thought the Sixers did really, really bad tonight with second chance points, let me tell you. I mean, you saw Drummond. I mean, these guys, they're chucking up three-pointers, and Drummond's in the paint, and he's grabbing the rebound. Then he's throwing it up off the backboard trying to get it in. He can't get the shot in, and it wasn't just him. It was Gordon as well. It was Caleb Martin when he got onto the court. All these guys are getting rebounds, and they're trying to lay it up and in, and nothing's falling. Nothing was going in. I thought the Sixers did terrible on second chance points. So that was a terrible issue in itself. When you're chucking up threes, when you already can't bang down three-pointers, and you should be relying on inside the paint. You should be relying on layups and relying on small ball. And we couldn't even do that tonight. I thought really the big issue really was the second chance points. You're getting rebounds. You're out rebounding the Bucks, and you still can't get the shot into the net. And Brook Lopez, I mean, this guy's like 10 feet tall, and he's just stealing the ball from it. I mean, I don't expect anything different from this team. That was a typical Sixers performance when it comes to second chance points. Really, I mean, the second that's something they're really going to have to work on, and that's something I think they're going to work on. It's not like they're not going to work on it, but you can't expect to win a basketball game when you just can't rebound, when you just can't put up some second chance points. They put up those second chance points. They couldn't get it in. Oh, my God. I'll tell you what. Another issue I had tonight. The Sixers were trying too hard for the three-pointer. Every single time they drove down the court, they were just chucking up a three-pointer, whether it was Maxey, whether it was Oubre, whether it was KJ Martin, whether it was Eric Gordon. All the Sixers did tonight was chuck up three-pointers. And none of the shots were falling. None of the shots were falling. And not only were they just chucking up three-pointers, they had terrible shot selection, whether it was outside the arc or inside, trying to get the field goal. I mean, they're taking the most contested, most uncharacteristic shots ever. I mean, these floaters, they weren't even floaters. They were trying to do Kareem Abdul-Jabbar shots. I mean, what are you doing? That's the things I'm talking about. The Sixers have plenty of opportunities to win the ball game tonight. They had plenty of opportunities to bang down shots. They couldn't hit three-pointers. They wanted to just, all they want to do is shoot three-pointers. So they're trying to just play hero ball instead of driving the lane, laying it up and in, drawing the foul, which is what, when they actually started to do that, they actually started to score. When the Sixers actually started to drive the lane tonight and put pressure on the interior of the Milwaukee Bucks defense, they started to score. They started to actually score. When they got away from just chucking up three-pointers and they drove inside the lane, they started to score. That's what I like to see. Maxey, he realized that his three-pointers weren't falling. His three-pointers weren't going to go tonight. He started to drive the lane. He was trying to draw the foul. He was working the magic with his little jelly roll. That is what the Sixers have to do. I understand most teams in the NBA are trying to be these three-point teams now. You can't. The Sixers, you have to adjust. And I thought that they did a good job at the end of the game adjusting to the fact that they had to drive the lane because that was what was working against the Bucks. And then another thing I wanted to touch on. I didn't think that Tyrese Maxey played all that great tonight. He didn't play terrible. It wasn't awful. No, by all means, it wasn't awful, but I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was what Maxey had to be. 25 points is great, but I thought that he played a lot of hero ball, or he was trying to play a lot of hero ball, chucking up threes, shooting uncontested shots, driving the lane, getting blocked, trying to draw the foul, which is all fine and dandy. But I thought that his shot selection tonight was proving to me that he was trying to play hero ball. Without Embiid, without Paul George, he's going to be the main guy. He's going to be the guy. And he knew that. And he came in and he played well, other than the fact that he was forcing shots. The three-pointer was a big mistake. He knocked down a couple of them. But, I mean, the three-pointers were a problem tonight. Then he figured out he had to drive the lane, but then he just didn't want to actually go to the rack. He wanted to just pull up in a contested shot inside the paint. I didn't think he played to the best of his ability tonight. It wasn't awful, but it was not the best. The final thing I want to touch on. By all means, here's the thing. By all means, I'm not going to say that the Sixers season is over after one game. By all means. And another thing I'm definitely not going to do is base the Sixers off of one game without Embiid and without Paul George. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to sit here and do that. Because I thought Maxey, 25 points, that is what you can expect out of him. That is what the Sixers can get. I mean, Kelly Oubre, he stepped up as well, 21 points. I mean, I don't expect Kelly Oubre to get you 21 every night, but that's something big. He stepped up to play tonight. So I thought that there was some good things that came out of this Sixers game tonight. But what I'm definitely not going to do, and what I hope people aren't going to do, is base the Sixers and write this season off of one loss. The first game of the season with one loss and without your two best players. You can't do that. I'm not going to do it. And I understand I'm a total rage monster and I throw things and I say that the season's over before it actually is over. I'm going to stand tall with my Sixers. I'm going to say that you just can't base it off of tonight. There were some good things, but certainly some bad things. But you just can't base it off of a little bit, man. That's it. But other than that, the Sixers are 0-1. They had Friday night to Toronto. Going to play the Raptors up in Toronto. Thank you all for tuning in. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Have a good night.